back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about if you should be saving or investing your money. But before we begin, please subscribe, smash that like button. I appreciate it so much. And before we begin, I'd just like to note that I am not a financial advisor, so don't take anything that I say as financial advice. So to start off today's video, I think it's important to define saving money and define investing money. So saving money is essentially income not spent. So money that I earn that isn't spent. And you can put that money, maybe that's like cash under your mattress, that's considered savings, or maybe you have a savings account, checking account, just someplace you just generally will put your money that's easily accessible. And investing basically means owning an asset with the intent of that asset generating income. So maybe I buy stocks in hopes that they go up, or I buy a business, I buy bonds, things like that are gonna get a return on the money I put into it. So with that being said, I wanna talk about a few pros and a few cons for saving and for investing. I'm not gonna cover all of them, but just a few key points that are important to know and understand. So let's dive into Excel and I can better explain these pros and cons. All right, so here in Excel, let's go over the pros and cons for saving, and then we're gonna go over the pros and cons for investing. So that first pro is gonna be security. So when you're saving your money, or you have that emergency fund, it gives you a better sense of security. Like, I have disposable money in case something happens, like my car breaks down, or I need to buy a new car, or I take a trip to the hospital and don't have great health coverage. I have that emergency money available that provides that security for me in case something bad happens. All right, so the second would be liquidity as a pro for saving. So when you save your money, generally it's going to be more liquid. You're going to be able to spend it faster in case you need it. Because that's cash, or that's in a checking account or a savings account, which is easily available to you to spend. But then we get into the cons of saving here. And that first con would be loss of value. And let me explain what I mean by that. So loss of value, if I'm just taking my money and I'm putting it under my mattress, or I just have a bunch of cash on hand, or I throw it into a savings account with a super low interest rate, which is generally what they have, then I'm going to be losing the value of that money over time due to inflation and other factors that would cause the value of my money to go down. So, if I have $20 today and I save that $20 in my wallet for 50 years, I'm not going to be able to buy the same things with that $20 that I could 50 years ago. So you're losing value on your money. Another con to savings is that you have little or no growth in the value of your money when you're saving it. So when you're saving money, you're not putting that into other things that are going to generate you more money. So those are just some of the pros and cons for saving money. So now let's move on to this investing section. And that first pro is going to be growth, which I think is the biggest. And actually, we're going to put that in red because that is the biggest pro towards investing your money versus saving it. When you invest your money, you're getting potentially an infinite return on that money. If I put it into a stock, in 10 years, that money could have quadrupled or, multiplied by 100. You never know. Or if I buy a business or use that money to invest in my own business, I could be generating even more income from that initial investment. So you can get a huge return on your money, and you can grow your money past the rate of inflation or past other factors that are going to devalue the money you have at that time. All right, and another pro to this is passive income, which kind of ties in with this growth part, but let me explain that. So when I invest my money, I have the opportunity to earn passive income, or basically earn money with little or zero effort. If I throw money into a stock, I might have to do a little bit of research up front to know what stock to buy. But after I put that money into it and I just let it sit there for, the long term, I'm not really doing anything to make that money grow. So it's more of like a passive income source. So when you're saving your money, you don't get that. You don't get that passive income. Now, as good as that might sound, there are some cons to investing, and I'm just going to highlight both of them right now. But with investing, you have more risk to lose money, and your money is not very liquid. And now let me explain those two cons for you. All right, so number one, you have more risk investing. If I buy a stock and I didn't do my research, that stock could plummet and I could lose the money I put into it. Or if I use that money to start a business and the business doesn't do very well and I'm putting too much time into the business and I want to stop the business, then I'm losing that return, right? Or I'm losing that investment. And when you invest money, it's not very liquid. So if I take that money and I'm putting it into a business, I have to sell that business in order to hopefully get my money back if it doesn't go out well. And I could lose money on that. Now, stocks, technically that's not very liquid if you're owning stocks, but nowadays, a few days and you can sell out of a stock and get money back, and then it's more liquid. But it does take time. So if you need money right then and there, like you have an immediate medical bill due or an immediate rent payment or something, then you don't really have that income or that money disposable to pay that off. All right, we're gonna dive into Excel one last time, and I wanna go through some numbers on how your money can grow with a basic investment versus saving. All right, so let's jump into Excel and I'm gonna show you this. All right, so here let's say we have two columns here, saving and investing. And let's say our salary, let's just say is $600 a week, for example, just to keep it simple. And let's say we spend about $250 a week. So regardless of if we're saving or investing, after all living expenses are taken care of, we're going to have $350 remaining. If we save that money for a year, let's say, and we times that by 12, we're going to have $4,200 at the end of the first year. And that's actually due after 5 years as well here. So then I take that, multiply that by 5, and in 5 years, if I'm saving $350 a week, which is a lot, I'm not saying that that's how much we should be saving or anything, but after 5 years, we're gonna have $21,000 saved up. All right, so let's compare that to investing. So let's do a quick formula here. So NPER is number of periods. Let's do 12 months, which is a year, right? So our payment is going to be $350. Let's put this into money here. Whoops. And then our rate of return, let's just say we're throwing this money into the S&P 500, which has an average rate of return between 10 to 12% every year. But let's do a low end and let's do 10% here. And then we're going to want to know how much that's worth, so the future value of that money in a year, if we're putting $350 every week into the S&P 500. All right. Now, before we do our future value formula, we need to put these in similar terms. So let's just do that this is compounding monthly. So we'll need to take our rate and divide that by 12 to get our monthly average rate of return. We'll add a couple decimals here. So that's a 0.83% return every month. And let's take this 350 and we'll times that by, let's say, so there's technically 4.33 weeks in every month. We'll just do 4 to keep it on the more conservative side. So let's say we're putting $1,400 in every month. So our future value would be, our rate would be that 0.83%. Our number of periods will be 12 for 12 months, and our payment would be $1,400 a month. So we are essentially making $17,592. And when you compare those two, saving versus investing, if I were to save my money versus invest that in the S&P, I'm losing $13,392. All right, so now we're going to do a future value formula. And we're going to do the rate, which is going to be the same, Number of periods, we're going to do that times 5 to get 60 months, which is 5 years. And then our monthly payment is still $1,400 every month. And so the difference there is much more significant. An $87,000 difference saving versus investing. So just looking at the math, investing looks like a much better option. And again, this is not financial advice. So looking at that in simple terms, and obviously you're going to get a different rate and you might not make 10% every year. But if you do, you're going to make significantly more money investing rather than saving your money. So we kind of went over the pros and the cons for saving and investing on both sides. And it ultimately goes, it ultimately boils down to your lifestyle. If you like, having that sense of security and you like knowing that you have extra money, then maybe investing all your money isn't the right way to go. But if you want to you want your money to grow, you want to get a return on your money, then investing probably is the way to go. Or maybe you want an emergency fund big enough to feel security and comfort, but you also want to invest your money so you can kind of mix the two and kind of have a blend of investing and saving. It really boils down to your lifestyle and what you want. So hopefully those facts, those pros and cons made sense to you. And if they didn't, or if you disagree with anything that I said, please leave a comment, smash the like button, subscribe, and I'll catch you on some later videos. Have a great rest of your day.